Hey everybody, how we doing? John Anthony, Chair Shot Sports, a drive to the top production. Thank you so much for joining us. First off, let me address the elephant in the non-existent room. I do apologize about getting this video all a little late. Obviously, everyone and their brother has already done a recap on SummerSlam, the Roman Reigns return. Just talking about Raw this past Monday, which was phenomenal, by the way, one of the best Raws in a while. But nonetheless, I still want to do a show, still want to talk about SummerSlam. Didn't want to talk about NXT Great American Bash Week 2 tonight. And obviously, everyone else has talked to death, all the matches, all the results. So instead of just talking about that, let's talk about where we go from here, where the winners who won on Saturday night go from here, moving down the rest of the year of 2024 as we head into Royal Rumble season, WrestleMania, stuff like that. So that being said, let's go ahead and start on the card of SummerSlam. Liv and Rhea, the World's Women's Championship. Awesome match. Obviously, Dom Mysterio gets involved, ends up throwing the chair into the ring, distracts the ref. Liv is able to get the 1-2-3 on Rhea. To the surprise of a lot of people and much to the chagrin of Liv Morgan, Dom then goes down, helps Liv up after sliding out of the ring, gives her back her title, and just plants a fat, wet kiss right on Liv Morgan, tongue and all. Man. Obviously, we see Rhea's face. She's disgruntled. She's upset. Heartbroken, if you will. She's lost her Dom. Dom has been playing Rhea for a little bit here now. I said it last week in the prediction show. I think somewhere halfway through, Dom made the decision to turn. I think back with Becky Lynch, that was an honest accident, really trying to get the belt back for Rhea. And then as we go on, weeks and weeks and weeks go on, the PS5, the chicken tendies, everything that she's doing for Dom. Dom is like, you know what? I kind of like this. I kind of like where this is going. I want to see what happens. And Mommy's not around. Mommy finally came back, but Mommy wasn't around. Of course, Dom's scared, doesn't want to get his ass kicked. So he acts like he's upset, disgruntled over at Liv, waiting for this one moment, one of the biggest stages of the year at SummerSlam, turns the other cheek over Liv Morgan. Now we have Dom and Liv Morgan moving forward in the Judgment Day, in the new Judgment Day. We'll get to that in a little bit as we talk about a couple more matches down the card. So that was great. Great way to kick off SummerSlam. Then we go into Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, IC title. Again, great match. Sami is always good for a great match, win or lose. However he's booked, he's going to do a great job. I said it in the prediction shows. The first one was a middle finger from Paul Levesque and the booking team. So yeah, Sami can win this. Sami is the underdog from the underground. He's not going to not win this match. I knew the second match around, the Braun Sami Zayn match, second time around, was going to be a win for Braun. Braun looks phenomenal, looks great. He's going to be an amazing Intercontinental Champion for hopefully months and months to come, probably running that title into WrestleMania. And I can't see him losing it unless someone makes a case for it and the storyline makes sense. But I can see him holding that belt for a while, a la Gunther. So Braun Breaker walks out of there, your new Intercontinental Champion. Then we go to the megastar LA Knight. Yeah, we go to him. Logan Paul, the U.S. title, a match that a lot of people have been waiting to see for a long time. Great match, great spots. Logan Paul with the outside moonsault. LA Knight with the accidental brainbuster off the top rope. Amazing spots. But of course, the best move going right behind the RKO is definitely the BFT. No one on the roster has kicked out of that BFT yet. So kudos up to LA Knight, your new United States champion, much deserved by LA Knight. Told a lot of people, he was due. I think if he did not win this past Saturday and leave with that belt, we're going to be looking at a matter of why are we backing LA Knight? Obviously, he's still white hot. The catchphrases, the merch, everyone loves it coming out. Hey, Knight, yeah. People go nuts. They love to see it. They're going to SmackDown just to hear that music. And it happened. They booked him the right way. They gave him the strap. A lot of people are saying Logan Paul was supposed to win, but because of the tweets that came out about the Olympics, no, I'm sorry. That is fake news. There's no way that LA Knight was not booked to win this match. and end the rest of the year as the U.S. champion and probably take that title into WrestleMania. So kudos up. Congratulations over to LA Knight, your new United States champion. Another great match of the night. Damian Priest and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match delivered. Both guys killed it. Were awesome. 5 out of 5. Great match. Told the story in the ring. Took their time. It was awesome. But of course, it was great until Finn Balor came down trying to help Damian Priest. In essence, costing Damian Priest the title by throwing Gunther's leg up on the bottom rope, helping Gunther kick out and locking the submission on Damian Priest not once but twice. And Gunther was able to realize the dream and take his King of the Ring title opportunity and make it a reality. Gunther is now your World Heavyweight Champion over on Raw. And I want to stop for a second because I wanted to get to this match because I wanted to talk about it. And if I'm going a little fast, like I said, I could sit here and dissect every match. Everyone's already done it. I want to get to the meat and potatoes of where these people are going after this, right? So I wanted to stop here because I want to talk about Rhea and I want to talk about Damian Priest. So obviously, like we saw on Raw last night, those two are ousted. They're exonerated from the new Judgment Day. I don't know how I feel about this new Judgment Day. Obviously, it looks like Finn saying there is no leaders, but Finn is the leader. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here with Dom and with Rhea. And let me explain, because Rhea, the path for her is easy. It's very concise. It's whether it's 3, 4, 5 months, whether they're able to milk this until WrestleMania. God bless them if they do and they make it make sense and they make it happen. Rhea wins that title back at the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. I don't know. But the end result is going to be Rhea regaining the Women's World Championship on the Raw brand, right? I don't know right now, while we're recording this, where Damian Priest goes from here, right? Obviously, he needs a rematch for the world title. He didn't lose it clean. He's going to want his rematch. But that can't be done until he exonerates all the demons of the new Judgment Day, right? It's going to go through JD, Carlito, right? Obviously, probably Dom. And obviously, we're going to have to go to Finn. I think once all that is done, maybe him and Finn, when they fight in their match, maybe it's for number 1 contendership of the world title. And that's why I really thought Damian was going to hold on to this belt for now. And Gunther was going to have his shot at Bash in Berlin, right? It's very crowded at the top right now. Just on Raw for that world championship, right? So we have Gunther, right, who's your new champion. CM Punk, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Sheamus. You have a lot of dudes right now on Raw that are coming for that belt, that are in the picture already. And what did they do last night? That was not on my bingo card. Brock Lesnar, if he were to come back, he is going to get a shot. Finn could have a shot, saying that he helped Gunther win that belt. There's 6, 7 guys in front of Damian. They throw Randy Orton out there. Now, this was awesome to see, too, because back in the VKM era, you would never acknowledge a botch. You would never acknowledge a mistake. Now, a lot of people are saying it was done on purpose. This was always the setup all along, which is why a lot of people picked Gunther, because they knew this was going to happen. The camera was dead on that shoulder up when he pinned Randy Orton at King of the Ring. It was dead on. Corey talked about it. Cole talked about it. So it was that massive and that out there that everyone acknowledged that it happened. Everyone's saying that this was planned. This is why they did this. That's why it was very up and close and personal of that shot of his shoulder being off. And now we fast forward to last night on Raw. Now Randy Orton comes to get his title shot that he talked to Triple H about. So it makes sense. But back to Damian Priest. So let's say Damian's got to go through Judgment Day. We're talking week after week after week on Raw, right? Tag matches. Obviously, after the main event, Damian gets beat down. Liv and Dom want to get involved. Here comes Rhea Ripley, the Twin Terrors, right? The Terror Twins, I should say. And now we're looking at probably next week a mixed tag match, right, on Raw. Maybe we're doing something Bash in Berlin. We're trying to stack that card real quick. Survivor Series is is only 2 months away. You got Bad Blood coming up. So I think a lot of these, you got Survivor Series, Bash at Berlin, and obviously Survivors. I think what we're doing here is, and it's hard not to see the writing on the wall and the map, right? I talk about this a lot ever since Paul Levesque's taken over, and there's nothing wrong with it in the least. Once you see who wins Money in the Bank, right? Obviously SummerSlam. The rest of the road is kind of mapped out for you until you get to the Royal Rumble, and that's where you see your next exit, which is the Royal Rumble. You see who wins, and then we jump back on that road. Whoever doesn't win, whoever does win, they pick Raw. Then you have an elimination chamber for who gets it on SmackDown, and now you know WrestleMania, and that's all. It's all said and done up until WrestleMania, and then we reset at Backlash with a draft and whatnot, right? So I don't know how long they're going to drag this out, but obviously Damian has to go through the entire Judgment Day, shut these guys up. I guess last night on Raw Talk, him and Rhea are saying how they are the Judgment Day, which they are. I was actually at Backlash 2 years ago when Edge debuted her as the member. That was amazing to see live. The crowd popped. It was awesome. But obviously they started the group, right? They're the ones that kicked with Finn, right? They kicked Edge out, Adam Copeland. So I say all that. The road is cloudy and murky for me. Getting where Damian Priest gets that belt back. Does he get it back again? I think so. Is it on Raw? I don't know. SmackDown's getting clouded. Roman's back. A lot of people over on SmackDown. Who knows what the draft is going to look like when that's over with? AJ's coming back this upcoming Friday. He signed out for 2 more years. He's done after this contract. He's doing another title run. Randy Orton, whatever happens on Raw, maybe he wins on Raw and stays on Raw. I don't know. He's definitely not taking it back to SmackDown. We don't do that anymore. I got tripped out, though, when Randy came out because I'm getting worried. And then we got Damage Control, too, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing? But with Randy, I was like, oh, great, here we go, wild card era. Okay, Vince, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Come on. Like, I'm getting flashbacks, you know? But it made sense for him coming out, getting his rematch, obviously, against the man who never pinned him to move on and get that belt. So in speaking with the world heavyweight title picture over on Raw, one of the next match was CM Punk, Drew McIntyre with Seth freaking Rollins as your special guest referee, paying homage to SummerSlam 97. With all those guys going back in the day. So I said it before, Drew needed this win. I don't care how he got it, whether it was with interference, Seth screwing somebody over, however it happened. Drew needed this win. He got it. Then where do we go from here? It was always like, where do we go from here with these last couple matches? Like, okay, Gunther wins. Where's he go? He has with Randy Orton, Bash at Berlin. Let's go. And then that leaves Priest. Obviously, Judgment Day. Will he ever get a shot at the world title again? We don't know. So Punk loses. Right? Drew gets his win, which he deserves. He's taken a lot of L's. He's done a lot of work with this character. One of the best characters I've seen in a long time doing heel work, especially Drew McIntyre. So Drew goes over. Obviously, Seth is involved. All three it's like a big grudge match now, all three of them. We go to Raw last night. Punk and Rollins are in the ring. Let's kick each other's ass. Let's go. You screwed me. Let's go. Drew ascends from the heavens, like talking about all the things about him still having the wristband and all that good stuff. So I guess we're looking at a triple threat match here at Bash in Berlin between the three of them, which kind of doesn't make any sense unless it's a number one contenders match. We sweeten the pot. We put the bracelet on a pole. I don't know. But it's like, I don't know. We took all three of these. You kind of took each one kind of want to kick the other one's ass and made it make sense to put all three together. And I get it because you're getting them out of the title picture long enough where they're fighting each other, figuring out I'm sure, and whoever wins, let's say Punk goes over in the triple threat match. Obviously, whoever he pins, if it's Seth Rollins, is going to come out the next night, want a rematch that night in the main event of Raw, yada, 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 all that stuff. So it makes sense. But it's going to be good. I think it's good for Drew. Drew needed it. Drew has a very long, prosperous career. I think what's happening is I really hope they start using NXT. And I'm not saying start filling it with all these main eventers. It's by itself over on the CW, right? NXT will be in October. It's a standalone show. It doesn't have any other shows on USA to help it out. You need to start taking some of these guys and putting them over on the third brand and get that brand moving around. They're bringing it to Chicago. They're bringing it to St. Louis for the first 2 shows on CW. So that's going to be cool. Obviously, if those turnouts are amazing, they're going to probably keep going on the road, getting just out of Florida, which I think a lot of people want to see. I, for one, want to see NXT come. Only time I really go is when they do the PLEs. I've been to Battleground. I've been to Deadline. Those were awesome shows. But I want to go and see an NXT show live and see it taped. Have it air live, just like they do on Tuesday nights. So that'd be awesome to see. I think a lot of these guys got to start moving around. I said a couple months ago, I stand by it, and I'll keep saying it until it happens. I think this year's draft in 2025 after WrestleMania, I think you're going to see NXT play a prominent role in getting high-profile wrestlers. Maybe you get a Drew McIntyre. Maybe a CM Punk goes to NXT. He wants to, and I put quotes up. He's been quoted as saying he wants to sign a contract to be there for the rest of his career and move down to take over NXT when Shawn hangs up, right? I think that'd be awesome. Punk obviously wants to give back for a long time to come, and I think the best way to do that is him going to NXT. He has a great wrestling mind. Him talking to a lot of the younger wrestlers would be awesome. Awesome for the talent and awesome for the business as well. So then we came to our main event. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, the WWE Undisputed Championship. Great match. Obviously, once we heard it was Bloodline Rules, we knew it was coming. We didn't know who was coming. We knew what was coming. Everyone starts getting involved. Chairs are getting thrown around. There's tables. Everyone's down. Here comes the Bloodline 2.0. And then it hits. New music that slaps, by the way, from Roman Reigns. The OTC, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, makes his return to SummerSlam in the main event. He runs down to the ring, cocks the wrist. Who's he going to hit? Boom, takes out Solo, gets in the corner, hits Solo with the spear, looks over at Cody, almost like, all right, I took care of your business. Here, take out the trash, get the 1, 2, 3, take care of him. And obviously Cody hitting that last crossroads, looking right at Roman, getting the 1, 2, 3. That business is far from being finished. Roman's going to want that belt back. But I've said it for weeks. People were thinking up. People have said I was wrong. No one said I was stupid. I mean, maybe not to my face, maybe watching the show. But everyone thought I was wrong. It was too presumptuous. It's too soon. No, it wasn't too soon. It was perfect. And even if you knew he was coming back, I still marked out and jumped off my couch when the music hit. 1, because it was awesome music. 2, we all wanted Roman to come back. And this is Roman. This is face Roman. This is babyface Roman, listed internally now as a babyface on the SmackDown roster. Back for one reason. War Games. He's here to set it up, baby. And now we just apparently traded Austin Theory and Grayson Waller over to Raw. Apparently it was borrowing, but apparently it's a trade. Now we're hearing that Sami Zayn and Jey Uso might get traded back to SmackDown or borrowed on limited time, whatever the hell that means. I feel like there's a really low-key wild card rule, but if they're staying over there for 4, 5, 6, 7 months, I'm cool with that. As long as we're not jumping between Raw and SmackDown every week. That's what I don't want. But if that's what we're doing, and Sammy and Jay are coming back to SmackDown, there's your War Games match right there. So let's put SummerSlam on the back burner, right? So that's it. We just talked about the main event. Roman was back, right? Awesome show. I'll get back to it in a minute. You already have War Games set up. I don't know if they're going to do. I don't think they have anywhere really for the women's match. So I think it's going to be a Raw War Games and a SmackDown War Games. Raw's clear. It's going to be Judgment Day, which is Finn, Dom, Carlito, JD. Do we include her? Yeah, and Liv, right? To include, and also on the other side, it's obviously Rhea and Damian. Now, I don't know who they're going to pull off for 3 other members. Probably a tag team. Right? It really can't be anyone from the Final Testament, right? Because they're heels, and Priest and Rhea are wicked over, unless they're going to turn him. I don't know. Maybe the New Day helps out. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that's your Raw. That's your Raw side. SmackDown, it's already done, right? So it's Solo, Jacob, who, by the way, sold that injury amazingly. It's already been talked about as kayfabe to keep him away from Roman, to have him injured so he couldn't get up to get into the ring. We're saying that Roman Jacob Fatu meeting is going to be amazing when it finally does happen. Those two in the middle of the ring staring down at each other is going to be awesome. So I don't know who. I know what the Bloodline 2.0 has, but over here you got Roman, you got Cody, and again I've talked about this. Those two will join together for the common good, and I guarantee you, give it like a week or two. It's one of those promos where Roman's like, "I don't like you, but I respect you, and I'm coming for that belt at some point." And that's cool. We get that. We know that's going to happen. But who else joins over on Team Roman, right? Face Roman now, right? Jimmy's going to come back to help out. That's 3. And if Sammy and Jay get drafted over, boom, you pretty much have Bloodline OG now as faces. And you have the assist from Wicked over Jay, Wicked over Sammy, returning Jimmy, which is awesome, Wicked over Roman, and Cody, the champion, who's your top face over on the Blue brand, facing off against Bloodline 2.0. If they need another member, they'll go and call one of the 96 cousins, and they'll bring one of them with them. Survivor Series. So I think that's where we're going with that. I've said it for a long time. I think that's it. Everything is making sense to go that route, because then we do that. Roman gets the win, right? They win on War Games. They win in the cage. Then you can look to see where we're going in a singles kind of way, right? Roman is kind of running the same. Roman and Damian Priest are one and the same, except one lost their title a long time ago, 4 or 5 months ago. Roman is going to have to go through the entire bloodline, and he's going to get a lot of it done at there's a lot of parallels, like I said, with Damian and him. A lot of the sins of the father get taken care of at War Games. Roman's going to get a piece of everybody from Bloodline 2.0. Damian's going to get a piece of everybody from the new Judgment Day, right? But then it's when you're going to see your one-on-ones with the new leader. So you're going to get that Roman and Solo match. Maybe at the December pay-per-view. Hopefully they bring back Armageddon. And then Damian and Finn got to face off as him being the new leader, though there's no leaders. Maybe in a number 1 contenders match. However you want to sell it. But then we run into the Royal Rumble. But at the Rumble is when he returns. The final boss. The so-called head of the corporate table. The board member. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes back. Probably opens up day 1. Day 1's the new concept. Day 1 and New Year's Eve, and then whatever they want to call New Year's Revolution over on SmackDown, right? Or switch it up. Rock comes back, looks at a Roman. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who are you? Hey, you going with this guy? And then him and Roman have a beef because now you have face Roman, uber heel final boss Rock. Those two need to face each other. And that, I feel like, happens at Royal Rumble. Right? But what that means is Roman isn't in the Rumble. He's facing The Rock at the Rumble. That takes Roman out of that match. So I can tell you right now, whoever wins the Royal Rumble in 2025 is going to challenge over for Raw. Because The Rock or Roman are facing Cody at WrestleMania. Now, I think it's Cody versus The Rock, only because before The Rock left the night after WrestleMania on Raw, he handed him the broken watch. He told him, he said, our story is just getting started. And he held the belt, right? A lot of people are saying that Roman, now a lot of people are saying it's going to be Roman and Rock at WrestleMania. And maybe that's true. Maybe I have it backwards. Maybe it ends up being Cody and Rock at the Rumble for the championship. Roman goes and wins the Rumble. Roman challenges Cody. Gets a shot at Elimination Chamber. Rock costs Rock and new Bloodline 2.0 cost Cody the match at Elimination Chamber. Now we have the match we've wanted for about 3.5 to 4 years now. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. All bets are off. That's a good tagline. Paul Levesque, Triple H, you hear me? WrestleMania 41, where all bets are off. Haha. See what I did there? Finally, you get Roman, Rock, no belt, no championships. But for the true head of the table is in WWE of the entire Samoan family, the entire Samoan dynasty. Who is the head of the table? A match that is going to be so built up with pageantry, Rock coming out probably with the lay on and the whole, probably bringing back, bringing whoever they want. Rikishi's probably there doing things like that. You know what I mean? However they want to bring in. But that's how I think it gets mapped out from here till WrestleMania 41. And that's why I think you're going to see WWE. Obviously, Netflix starts in January. SmackDown starts over in October, over on USA. CW in October, right? But I think WrestleMania 41 is where you're going to see, dare I say, the end of the Bloodline story. 5 years in the making. 5 years of this. It's finally over. Right? Judgment Day, over. We have American Made, the new Chad Gable faction, which is pretty much Kurt Angle's old faction back from in the early 2000s. Final Testament, start up, bringing them up. New Day looks like they have a new breath of fresh air with Odyssey Jones. That has a lot of that. That is probably the true way you see the New Day die. If anyone watched Raw, you saw that. I'm not ruining anything, first of all. If you're watching this on Tuesday night, you should have already seen the recap, or you should have watched it already. Xavier is not too happy about Odyssey Jones being brought into the group. And Karrion came out and said it earlier this afternoon on Tuesday about that. You have a lot of other things to worry about. It's way closer to home than you think. And I'm not involved anymore. This is where Kofi is going to actually turn on Xavier with Odyssey. And everything that Karrion has been saying for months will come to fruition, and the prophecy will be fulfilled. But I say all that to keep getting back to WrestleMania 41. I think WrestleMania 41 is going to be a hard reset in regards to creative and what Paul and what Nick want to do. You're going to see a lot new rivalries, signings. Julia will have now come through. I still believe Ricky Starks is definitely going to be someone who's going to come into the WWE. We'll see where he ends up. The draft is coming up. Ethan Page is going to get called up. Trick Williams is coming back. Oh, I should say coming up from NXT. Carmelo Hayes, he's going to be due. The old guard is going to be on their way out at some point. Randy Orton only has a couple years left. AJ Styles, only a couple of years left. Lashley, unfortunately, was one of the first ones. I mean, Lashley ran his course. And first of all, shout out to Bobby Lashley. I talked about on our radio show. Shout out, man. I think he was very unceremoniously let go. My claim to fame with Bobby Lashley was I was at the wedding for him and Lana, where Rusev popped out of the cake and Liv Morgan came down and professed her love for Lana. That was awesome. But no, I think it's going to be a hard reset. I think there's a lot of things going on. It's all about storylines. You strip it all away. You take away the bloodline. You take away Judgment Day. People who have take away the Liv Morgan Dom stuff. That'll be done by WrestleMania. The Liv Dom thing will happen. She turns on him. Rhea tells him to go pound sand. Dom's going to go on his own. All right. We have LWO. Don't forget the LWO. Hopefully Zelina. I'm very much on hashtag push Zelina. Selena, justice for Selena. She definitely deserves a women's title sooner than later. Tiffany Stratton has that briefcase. She needs to cash in. One match we didn't talk about was Nia Jax and Bayley. Amazing match. We went 6-1 here at Chair Shot. I'm very happy about that at the biggest party of the summer. And it's not being predictable. It's knowing how the storylines are going to end up. Now, Nia Jax winning is the most perfect setup. We've seen it before. Almost like Damian Priest. He really has a lot. Like his character development has a lot of parallels to a lot of people right now on the main roster, either Raw or SmackDown. So now we're going to see the constant pressure, the constant building up of fear and of like not knowing if Tiffany's going to cash in on her, and like is it what was she trying to cash in? Was she just trying to distract the other opponent? Things like that. But it's obviously the way to go. Nia, very deservingly so. I was a big Nia critic back in the day. Ever since she's come back, she's dropped some LBs, looks great in the ring, great on the mic, a lot more safer in the ring, has done a great job. And obviously pairing her with Tiffany is great for Tiffany to really learn how to be an amazing heel and really make it make sense character-wise. So again, that was a great match. But again, Tiffany Stratton has a briefcase that she needs to cash in. That's going to happen, which she'll probably be successful in. The future is so bright right now with WWE. And before I keep going any further, I'll talk about Raw a little bit more, and I want to talk about NXT. Speaking of brands, there's been a rumor out there, and I don't know how you make it happen. I don't know if you resurrect everything it did, if you're bringing back the arena, if you're bringing back the logo, I don't know. I think WWE needs to make a fourth show. And the rumors of reigniting the flame that was WCW on Netflix, I think makes sense. And I'll go on record. I'll die on this hill. I'll get on my soapbox. It makes sense. With your third show, NXT being a farm territory, pretty much, where you're growing these guys, you're bringing them up. You're seeing exactly what the problem is, though. You're running into the AEW problem. There's too many chiefs, not of Indians. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be a champion. There's only so long you can expect the fans to buy the merch, get behind them. And Tripp said it last year, Money in the Bank, when LA Knight didn't win. Good things come to those who wait. And he's not wrong. But it's very hard in 2024, soon to be 2025, for the average wrestling fan. The IWC is toxic as hell, okay? The tribalism seems to be going away a little bit, but then again, I get a lot of accounts and stuff on social, so I try to stay away from it. Maybe it's breathing very well and thriving. I don't know. But IWC is toxic. And everybody and their brother in the IWC want the instant gratification. Like SummerSlam, honestly, if you're watching this without the Roman comeback, probably an 8 out of 10, right? 7.5, 8. Go look at some of the comments. Now, whether it's AEW, WWE detractors, AEW fans that just want to shit on the product over it with the Fed, that's cool too, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, man, like, it's great wrestling. It was a great PLE. And if everything let's say everything I just said makes sense, and that's where they're going, and I have an inside track in my head of what they're going to do. The next 6 months are going to be amazing watching it all unfold. It's not going to happen exactly how I think it is. We're going to get to the end game. The reason why I think this is how they do things now is Triple H, again, said it in the documentary when he talked about WrestleMania, the Cody Rhodes, Rock controversy with Roman, all that stuff. Paul sits in the creative and goes, okay, I want so-and-so to be champion at WrestleMania 41. Now let's go back. The GPS is set for that. Now let's work backwards how we get there in the next 6 months. When you put 6 months of planning into a storyline, there's going to be twists, turns, and shout out to Sam Roberts. I do it almost every episode, whether I'm live, whether I'm doing a collab, or I'm doing it right now. Shout out, not Slam Wrestling. If you're not watching him, one of the best pods out there right now. One of his biggest rules is everything counts. Case in point, the Randy Orton pin that was put on blast across social media when Gunther won King of the Ring. We all had a knack or a feeling, a hunch this was going to happen. And what happened last night on Raw? Randy Orton came to collect because he never actually lost. So, with that all being said, I think WCW coming back, maybe even make, well, however you want to do NXT Thunder, I don't care. You need a fourth show. You need another show with its own titles, whatever you want to do, brand it. However, bring back WCW, bring back the arena. I don't care. Like, I think it'd be cool as hell to do that. They own the rights to everything for them. I think it's new, it's innovative. Do cool shit down there. You know what I mean? Now NXT becomes a third brand. Now maybe WCW becomes your power plant or your farm system. You know what I mean? How AEW should be using Ring of Honor. That's what you do. Now NXT is its own legitimate third brand. Now you can draft guys out of WCW into the three while the three are doing their own draft. But who am I? I'm just a podcaster. So speaking about last night, so SummerSlam, amazing. I give it 8 out of 10. Amazing PLE. Obviously, the Roman return, expected, but very much enjoyed. Awesome shout out to a lot of the winners from Saturday night. I think it's the path to WrestleMania 41 is going to be awesome, and the road is going to have a lot of exits, a lot of bumps in the road, but we're going to enjoy every single second of it. So speaking of Raw last night, the Wyatt Six made their in-ring debut. An amazing match. Now I want to go on record, and I've said this before. I said it I said this before it all started happening on Raw, and it's funny. That's why I love doing podcasts. I love doing audio recordings because you have it on tape. You have a date on it. You know when he got said. I said that I hope that the Wyatt Six personalizes all these characters that Bray unfortunately didn't get the chance to do with the Funhouse, and it made you fall in love with the aura of each character. And they don't wrestle with their masks on. They wrestle as regular people, and then when they need to, they tap into that. I said that 2 weeks before they started the video VHS vignettes, and then actually way before they started, where they all took the masks off, and now they're wrestling in the ring. I love it. It's amazing booking. It's a great call. And for the people that are still poo-pooing on this gimmick, turn your TVs off. Don't watch it. It's real people. It's people that were left. If you watch wrestling, if you really watch it, and you watch WWE, you watch NXT, right? You'll know Joe Gacy was left for dead. Dexter Lumis, left for dead. They paired him with The Miz as some hired hitman, right? Nikki Cross, no family, nowhere to go. Tried the superhero gimmick, didn't work. Couldn't get in with anybody. Her whole family of sanity was all of them were let go and fired. One left, right? And then we got the Redwood Tree, right? Eric Rowan, who has lost all of his friends and close to him, his family. He's lost all these people close to him. And then there's Bo Dallas, who lost his brother, who died of a heart condition. All these characters are based in real life. There's no BS storyline behind this. But they took all of them and put this together to carry on the Bray Wyatt legacy, but making it make sense in real life. And I just don't understand how people can't accept that. You don't like how fast it's happening? Well, guess what? Let's see when they're going to get in the ring. Now they get in the ring. They take their masks off, and you're like, oh, shit, they actually still look pretty cool with no masks on. They're in the ring. They're beating the hell out of everybody, running around the ring, doing crazy homages to Bray Wyatt, abundant. You got Uncle Howdy in the rocking chair with Nikki in front of him, right? You got Joe Gacy doing the lean back on the top rope, the look back. Like, it was amazing, an amazing match. Bray must be smiling ear to ear right now, looking down on these guys from what, and it's not just Taylor, Bo Dallas. It's not just Taylor. It's creative. They wanted to do this as a tribute because there were so many plans for Bray when he came back, and being sick, personal problems, wasn't able to fulfill what he wanted to do. So I just think I think we need to stop poo-pooing on the Wyatt Six. I think they're here. They've arrived. Now they're in the ring wrestling. Eventually going to win some gold, right? So just strap in, watch the story unfold, and just enjoy the ride. Right? If anything, if Paul Levesque has told you anything this past almost year and a half, right, is that the story always has the payoff that you're looking for. Is Bo Dallas going to become a world champion? Absolutely, he's going to. Is it going to be in his mask? Probably not. Probably not. Something's going to happen where the whole family gets annihilated, and Bo has no other choice as Uncle Howdy to show up, show out, and show whoever that poor soul is across from him in the ring, they don't mess with the Wyatt Six or the Wyatt family or a descendant of Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family. You know what I mean? And then he's going to grab the gold, just like I said before, just like they did a la Rey Mysterio, Freddie Guerrero, a la Christian with Edge. So it's just a feel-good story and makes sense. But it was an awesome match. Great to see the Wyatt Six. American made. Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. I love it. I love it. It's great. Name's got to grow on me a little bit, but I like it. American made. I like it. It's good stuff. I like how the Alpha Academy is kind of staying where it is. That's kind of good with Otis and those guys. I think they just need to stay professional and not be. I mean, they did a little cool manscaping commercial stuff like that. I just hope they don't become gimmicky, because if that's the case, all those Tozawa, all of them are getting released. Like, no one's going to see the light of day after Mania next year, which sucks. There's no way TKO is going to keep that around. So that sucks for them. So hopefully they get a little bit more seriousness to them going forward, and are able to be productive and be entertaining on the roster. But yeah, with all that being said, we covered SummerSlam. We covered Raw, right? So obviously tonight, NXT Great American Bash week 2. Awesome lineup. Let's just start at the bottom. We got Paxley and Kalani for the Women's North American Championship. Kalani's been a great champion, not someone I thought that would win, but she's done a great job in her defenses so far. I think tonight's when you pull the trigger on Pax. Now listen, hear me out. Nothing against Kalani. I don't think it's because she can't carry the belt or she's a flat champion, anything like that. You're not getting a lot of pop. It's kind of that, but that's not why I think they would do this. I think there's a lot of character development behind Paxley. I think you can do a lot with her. She put a lot of thought and would work into the character she currently has now. Went over and challenged for the belt over at TNA against All Odds, right? Is Jordan Grace. If you're going to have her do that, then you definitely have to have her in this match go for and get that belt. I mean, it's a mid-card women's belt. Paxley could lose it in 2 weeks. You know, it doesn't have to say she has to have it months on end. I don't think NXT is really where you're going to see a lot of the long-term storytelling, title runs, things like that on the Black and Gold brand. I apologize. Don't think that's where you're going to see that. Raw and SmackDown is a whole different story. You're going to see guys holding titles, making sense of what they're doing. NXT is kind of like, okay, here's a belt. Can you be champion? This is kind of what we're seeing. If you want to keep going with you or keep you down here or just release you. I think you want to see what Pax looks like with the belt. And more importantly, what the reaction is with her being champion. So I think that's going to be interesting as well. But I think Paxley takes in the Women's North American. Trick Williams, Pete Dunne, that's going to be a great match. Both those guys can go. This match, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. Trick's going to get this either I think Trick wins by All Out by a pinfall, or Pete Dunne wins by interference. I think Sheamus makes an appearance tonight, costs Pete Dunne, whether he does it in front of the ref or something nefarious and does something where the ref is out, does something and Trick gets the 1, 2, 3. I think Sheamus does something tonight to get a Pete Dunne, and then that in turn will then put those two on a collision course for Bash in Berlin in a singles match, or Shillelagh in a pole match. I don't know. The Radicals versus Axiom and Frazier. I think this is where we pull the trigger. They've done a lot of false breakups and like tension between the two of them, with one or the other going for the Speed Championship and not being fully dedicated to the Tag Championships. I think this is where it's not a matter of anyone not being on the same page. I think it's a matter of we're bringing the Rascals from TNA over to NXT, and they're kind of doing double duty. I think you put the NXT titles on the Rascals, because this is to test out the NXT belts going over to TNA. And eventually someone from TNA is going to win a belt and bring a belt over to NXT. So technically, I think this is the first time. This will be the first one where you see TNA talent winning an NXT belt and bringing it back over on the Thursday nights. That is going to be awesome. Do the NXT titles float around a little bit on TNA? I don't think so. I definitely don't want to see that, because I don't want to take away from the tag teams that are in NXT. But I think it's going to be cool to see those titles pop up on Thursdays on TNA. That is going to be cool. So I got the Rascals winning that match. Joe Hendry, Coffey, I apologize. How can you not bet again? How can you not bet on Joe Hendry? The man is white hot right now. White hot. Again, a guy who's bet on his character, worked on everything, bet on himself pretty much, and is amazingly over in TNA, in WWE, in NXT, has done awesome. He could probably pop up on Raw and the place would go nuts. Joe Hendry is over, baby. And he's definitely getting that win against Coffey tonight. And then, of course, your main event, Ethan Page, Ora Mensah for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. I got Ethan Page winning this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some metaphor interference. I don't know. I think we may have a debut tonight. I have a feeling. Maybe so. I think someone from TNA comes over and they do something. Maybe Joe Hendry gets involved. Maybe Lexis King gets involved. So there's going to be something going on tonight where you're going to know, I think, walking away, who your next challenger next week on Tuesday is going to end up being and reveal themselves to be to Ava, and going probably into the next PLE for NXT. So other than that, AEW is looking good this week. TNA is looking great. Obviously, we're rounding the bend, heading in for AEW All In. We're going to be doing a prediction show for that in a couple weeks, and obviously doing a recap show for the rest of this week in wrestling and whatever happens tonight on NXT Great American Bash. So, guys, as always, I appreciate immensely you tuning in, listening to me garble on about wrestling for an hour. Very much appreciated. So if you're watching this right now and you're on YouTube, please, if you haven't already, shoot us a subscribe. Last time I checked, about 86% of you that are watching this are subscribed. Shoot us a subscribe. Click the bell, man. Every time we throw an episode out weekly, you get yourself a notification. Also, join the 16,000 strong to follow us on X, over on Twitter. Very, very active over on that platform. And if you want to, you can also check us out on Instagram and at Facebook, all at the same Chair Shot Sports. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. I'm John Anthony. This has been a Driver to the Top Productions. Until next week, we will talk to you soon. And everybody, grab a cold beverage, get yourself a nice cozy seat in the living room on that couch, and get ready for NXT Great American Bash.